Welcome to the Divine Feminines channel. I'm your host, Steph Desan. In today's video, we're going to talk about the full moon in Virgo, the ending of the astrological year, and going into the spring equinox, and even the power of Aries seasons coming up and what it all means. But before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel, the Divine Feminines on YouTube, and we are available on all podcast platforms, Apple, Google, Spotify, you name it. Instagram and TikTok is Divine Feminines with a Z. And why tune in? Why like and subscribe? Well, we talk about the moon, we talk about the new moon, how we manifest, how we can use the full moon to release and purge and create space, how we become that beautiful butterfly, create our reality, manifest our dreams. Also, empowerment for the mind, body, and soul. If you're on the twin flame journey, we talk about that. Challenging journey, the connections, balancing your masculine and feminine energy. There is something for all of you, I am sure of it. So let's get started with the full moon in Virgo. What does it mean? Well, first off, it starts on the 18th of March on a Friday, and it's early hours. If you're EST, it's 3:17 a.m. and if you're in the UK, it's 7:17 a.m. So early hours, if you've got some time to be around or awake, brilliant. But don't worry, because the full moon energy is available to us a couple of days before the full moon and a few days after. So it's still very much a window that we can work with. Now, we're also ending the astrological year, which ends with Pisces, and the new year starts with Aries. So some of you guys might be like, you know what, when the new year started in January, it didn't feel quite right. It was gloomy, it was cold, especially if you're on this side of the world. Especially the northern hemisphere, right? Because we're going into the new season of spring, and it's bright and it's like new beginnings, and very much we associate this time of year with new beginnings, with spring, with the flowers blossoming and all of the seeds that we planted in the last few months coming to fruition, materializing, coming to the surface. So for many of you, you might really resonate with this being a new year. And for me, definitely is. I feel the energy, and I feel like, the usual Roman calendar of January to December doesn't quite fit right, especially if you're in the northern hemisphere. If you're in the southern, then obviously it's not spring equinox, it's an autumn equinox. But the equinox, the spring equinox, occurs on the 20th of March. And I'll get into that a bit later, but I first want to talk about this full moon in Virgo, what it means for us, how you can use this energy. I'll definitely give you some tips and ideas for cleansing, purging, journal prompts, and also what it means with the sun in Pisces, which is the opposite end of the moon, right? So we're working with full moon in Virgo energy, and we're in Pisces season, the sun sign right now, and how the two are going to help us. And if we use and tap into those energies, we can really clear, create, and get to work, because Virgo's here to get shit started. Excuse the language. I'm feeling it. So Virgo, earth energy. It's all about grounding. It's all about getting to the details. It talks about not just only our own rituals for self, so our self-nurture, our self-compassion, but also our daily routines, our work lifestyle, how we show up, and how we approach relationships, setting boundaries and getting to the details of things, but also ensuring that we're not too perfectionist. Now, Virgo can want to be a perfectionist and want things to be a certain way. So also at this full moon, it will be a time to understand all of these elements in our life. Pisces, well, if you watch my new moon video, I was talking about dreaming big, connecting with that intuition and that energy. And that's what this has really been about these last few weeks. We've got major Jupiter placement with Pisces, expanding the intuition. You might have been getting a lot of dreams, signs, synchronicities. That's helping us for this full moon in Virgo. Why? Because if we tap into what we've been seeing through Pisces season, and anything that might be coming to the surface now, because that's what a full moon allows us to do. It allows us to cleanse and purge things that are no longer serving us. I also mentioned we're going into a new year. So it's just a great time to declutter and to shed any of that old skin, to allow us to just reap the benefits of all those great seeds we've sown, and hold those beautiful flowers. Literally, I wouldn't say yank them out of the ground, because well, these ones have been, but I always say that real love is allowing the flower to bloom and blossom and admiring it, not pulling it out of the ground. But I'm kind of contradicting myself here, but I love these flowers and I'm kind of feeling this whole vibe of spring. So I hope you can feel that. But Pisces, it really allows us to connect with our deeper fears, our intuition, things that need us to sort of just trust in a bit of the unknown, because, you know, we are human beings, especially with the overload of communication and information, where we're always like, we need validation from external sources. But Pisces is like, hey, girlfriend, guy friend, you got it. You got it inside you. You have the answers to everything. Trust your intuition. Trust the divine, the divinity within you. And Virgo's like, okay, I can work with that. But the balance between the two is understand what's coming to the surface. Now, when I talk about, work, lifestyle habits, eating habits, how you're showing up, how you're seeing your relationships to friends or family, where you need to set boundaries, Pisces might be bringing you intuitive thoughts and feelings about, you know what, I've got these dreams and I've been dreaming big and I want to do this and I want to show up in the world now, because a lot of us are coming out a bit more. Things have changed since the last 2 years. So we're being called to kind of shine our light. And I'm always talking about, come on, shine your light, rise up, feminines and masculines. Let's be bold. Let's be in our truth. Let's take off those masks and be who we are called to be now. And, Pisces energy is all about, what is it that we really want to be? And also, we might also feel some of the fears within. Virgo wants to get to the details, and now we're leaving that kind of maybe quite highly emotional energy that Pisces might have brought to the surface. Some of you might have experienced that, especially if you're not a water placement. So it might have been a bit alien to you, might have been a bit tough, the Pisces season, but it was necessary. There was things that needed to come out emotionally for you. But Virgo is saying, right, I'm going to get to work now. I want to get to the details. But it's also about the release. So Virgo energy is going to be getting to the details. Let's put a plan in place. If there was a certain dream, a vision, a venture you want to go on, a passion project, change of career, creating, and I talked about relationships, building harmonious connections with Pisces and the good fortune that it can bring for connections and healing of connections and harmony. Then, Virgo will allow you to kind of get to the actual tangible next steps. You might not feel it, but Pluto is in conjunction with this full moon in Virgo, and that's transformation. We haven't even hit the eclipses yet, but it's already happening, and it's transformation in a good way, but you may not see it tangibly, but psychologically, what are you holding on to? So, when you think about those big dreams and then trying to get to the details of things, Virgo can also make you feel a bit obsessive of, I need to do it a certain way. Release that. It's about taking steps forward, yes, but it's not about being overcritical to yourself. So where are you able to release the overcritical kind of examination of yourself? What is it that you need to release? Journal prompt. What is it that I need to release where I may be being a little bit tough on myself? But where is it that I need to bring in maybe balance at the same time? Where is it that I might be overcritical about some of my plans or what I need to do next because I'm trying to get it all figured out? Virgo wants to figure it out, yes, wants to put it in place. It's a great energy to ground and to really get things going, but make sure you balance that with the doing, and the doing of the masculine kind of Virgo energy there with earthing things, and the Pisces energy of allowing things to flow. So try and get that balance. I mean, we're in 2022. This is a year of balance. It's a year of harmony. It's a year 6. It's about bringing things into balance. So we have all the energy and all of the alignment to do that, but it does require transformation. So, you may have been getting signs of certain situations, people, habits that you've got that need to kind of go. So when we think about work, are you wasting time a lot doing certain things a certain way? Could you change it? Instead of thinking about it, put some plans down. Start to write down how you're going to start doing it, and start doing it, even if it's just a little bit. You don't have to have it all figured out, guys. Nothing is all figured out. When I started this channel, most of you that have been with me from the start, It's transformed. It's gone from different places. I didn't think I was going to be talking about the moon. I didn't even think I would be pulling cards. I didn't even know I had that in me. Things unfold, but when you co-create with the universe, you're basically putting the message out of, yes, I'm going to put some work in. Yes, I do have some inspiration, and I'm a creator because the creator created me to create. But also I trust, and I also understand that the universe will create with me, and it's a dance between me and the universe and my divine self that wants to help me. I hope that helps. I'm going on and on and on here, but I'm on a passionate one, if you guys know me. So allow yourself to kind of let things unfold. You might not have it all figured out. When it comes to eating, a few people have said to me, when it gets to full moons, I get quite anxious, my blood pressure rises, or I'm feeling a little bit just uneasy. It could be because certain things are coming up for you, and you may usually distract yourself normally from them, but the full moon, it kind of forces it in your face even more. So what is it that you're feeling? Why are you feeling like that? Especially when it comes to food, we can distract ourselves with food, and that's not a very good distraction, because that becomes an unhealthy relationship to food. Those that know me from the podcast episodes, I talk about fasting. I talk about, really being intentional about what you put in your body. I fast regularly. And right now, there's a lot of solar storms coming into Earth, solar flares. So it's real activation, light codes coming in for us to all raise our frequency. I talk about how we're moving into, the solar reset, the 2030 higher vibrational ascension. We're all ascending, those that are on this journey. So we're receiving those downloads, those integrations. It can be tiring. It can be quite draining and physically quite symptomatic on the body. So for my soul sisters, Joanna and May, we've been talking about it, experiencing some tiredness or experiencing some body pains, and just riding through that wave. Or you might be experiencing it emotionally, because it just depends where you are in your journey. None of us are better than each other. We are all doing our collective contribution to this ascension of Earth. Remember that. The more you can heal, the more you can rise up, the more you can expand and transform, you are helping this Earth become a better place. It just all starts with us and ends with us, really. Don't worry about what anyone else is doing. Don't worry about that. And this is, again, Virgo. There is this energy of, am I being overcritical of myself? Where is that? Where do I need to release? But am I being overcritical and fussy and picky about others, friends, connections that are near to me? Do I expect friends to be a certain way? Or have I got frustrations about the way they show up and how they're dealing with their journey, or how they deal with me? Understand that they're on their journey, and release that. What can you forgive? It might have upset you. A friend might have showed up a bit, in a bit of a way to a situation. You're like, but why? Why couldn't they be happy for me? Or why couldn't they see it that way? Because maybe they just are not aware right now, and that's fine. They're on their journey, but release that, because you don't need space for that, right? Let it go. It's no longer serving you. So what is it as well with your eating behaviors? I'll come back to the food. I skipped over, didn't I? I always think around full moons, especially when you're doing a release and a full moon ritual, and you can do this on Friday. You don't necessarily have to do it at the exact time. You can do it, the energy is very powerful for Friday evening. You might want to consider just eating less or fasting a little bit, and maybe just having a very light meal. I would go with really high vibrational foods when you do break your fast. This is my always on go-to lifestyle anyway, right? But for full moons, powerful time, because when you're meditating and releasing, it's really good to do it on lighter stomachs, and it helps you don't feel so heavy within. Going for some fruit, some nice fruit to break fast, going with some vegetables, just some really nice alkaline plant-based stuff. But if you're not, I'm not trying to convert you to be vegan. If all I'm saying is, for my meat eaters and all of you guys, I love you all the same, right? You use Soul Tribe, everyone's on the journey, but maybe just cut down a bit of that eating so much around this full moon. It might help you to ground and feel a little bit more sort of connected to Earth. I always say to also, stare at that beautiful full moon, get some of that moonlight on you, like moon bathe, gaze, that will also help. Full moon ritual, right? Couple of things, couple of rituals. Virgo's about self-care and self-compassion. Where is it that you can allow yourself the self-compassion to heal? This is a massive healing moment for us. So Virgo is going to help us to heal. Take some time out. I've got some cards I've pulled to help you, give some messages. Take some time to just allow that healing, what you need to release. I would really recommend doing a nice meditation, writing down a forgiveness list, writing down a release list. What is it that I'm overcritical about? What is it that I'm critical about of others? Where am I trying to be a perfectionist that I'm trying to get it all done? What is it that I'm just kind of holding myself stuck to actually go and get these dreams underway and put some tangible next steps to what is it that I need to release or declutter from my physical space? Great time where as we move into this astrological new year and spring cleaning. What could you do this weekend that can just declutter your home? Remember, like, it's not just about our energetic space, but our physical space. I personally feel, just going to share something with you guys. I feel like I've done most of my stuff is out, but there's always like a few bits and pieces. I'm like, oh, that's built up a little bit. It might not be a lot, but it all counts. So I'm going to go through like admin, papers, things like that. Things that I might have collected, catalogs and things that I'm like, oh, I'll keep that, but now I don't need it. So just purging any of that. Just looking at ways that I can keep things even more tidy. I really like to live in a very simple way, but things do add up. Things do kind of, you buy something and you've got something, you put it aside, or someone's giving you something and you put it. Do you need all of that? Go through your drawers, go through your closet. Do you need those clothes? Have you thought about giving some of that to charity, or maybe they don't even fit you anymore? I always think it's really healthy to do that. But this is a powerful time because you clear that out, and then this Virgo full moon is like, yes, let's get to it. An Aries season, and I'm going to do the new moon on Aries, it's going to be a massive, powerful time to really step into your power, really go for it. We've had quite heavy energy in the last few months, but that's really behind us. I mean, I'm not going to say, don't say Steph said, but we are going to be supported massively over these next few months in positive ways to really hone in on our power. So I would suggest doing those releases. You can burn your release list, forgiveness list, anyone you need to forgive, anything that's maybe happened in the last few weeks, like, oh, I was a bit annoyed by this person, whatever, just forgive it. Even if it's, don't worry if, okay, here's a good one for you guys. You might go, I was really annoyed by this person. But actually, is that right of me to be annoyed? Forget about that. You was annoyed, you was frustrated, you felt that you were let down. Your feelings are valid. Forgive those. But understand that you're doing it for your purpose. It doesn't matter to the person, right? It's about your relationship with yourself and how you see things and how you're, feeling experiences. So whether it was right or wrong what the person did, it's not about that. It's about letting go and forgiving. If you're in the position that you can do that, yes. If you feel like, I don't even know how to forgive, this video is probably not for you. And I say that many times. You probably need to go on the journey of further healing to understand that forgiveness is the power to freedom of yourself, is the power to unlocking your real true wisdom, real true power, real true liberation. Because it's in the suffering that we don't forgive. It's in the suffering that we hold on to negative patterns, thought, behaviors. It's in the suffering that we hold on to resentment. We ain't about suffering on this channel. We're all about freedom. Remember I said that. So I think I've said everything. So the spring equinox is on the 20th of March. So it's on the Sunday. It's a beautiful energy. It's going to support us to really create that new start that we want. Whatever that means for you, if it's in, just a general whole life reset. So you want to start eating more healthy, the Virgo full moon will allow you to release maybe things. I need to change these things. I need to change this in my work life behavior or in my planning of doing things. I need to change this in my eating habits. You can then also, use the spring equinox energy to start propelling forward into factoring in those new ways. And you don't have to get it all figured out, like I said, but it will help you. And the new moon in Aries energy is coming not too far afterwards that will help you move forward in it. So I hope that helps. I hope that, you have a lovely full moon ritual. I always say, if you have any questions, do hit me up on the comments or DM me on the Instagram. I pulled some cards for just an energy update around this full moon and around the spring equinox, and it's a very clear message here. So we've got the Two of Voices, which is like the Two of Swords, paired with the Hanged Man, Hanged Muse. Shout out to Chris Ann for her cards. I love these cards. I'm always using Chris Ann. I've got so many other cards. I need to start pulling them out. So I'll do that next time. The Two of Voices is like, what are you're in your head, or you're kind of overthinking something, or you can't make a decision. It's time to really call that shot, but you're being asked to go within. So right now, especially with Virgo, you can get into a place of overgiving to others. This is time to really retreat. Just think about yourself. Be a bit selfish right now, because this is what this full moon needs you to do, especially, and set those boundaries, especially. But going within to figure things out and to see a higher perspective. Remember I said, Virgo likes to do the details, but you're being asked to also see the bigger picture. So don't worry about, I need to have it all figured out. Have your bigger picture, start some of those details. So don't get too caught up in your head. But anything that has been caught up in your head, you're being called to go within. So you might already be feeling this energy of going within, taking a bit of time out, maybe not being so sociable over the next few days if you feel that's needed, because you've been around so many people and you've been giving yourself to so many situations. Then we've got the Three of Materials, which is like the Three of Pentacles in reverse, with the Nine of Inspiration in reverse, Nine of Wands in reverse. I pulled out reversals as well. It's not negative. What I feel is that this is an energy of like pulling back from working with others and just looking at situations by yourself. Maybe you have been working with others, or maybe you just need to pull back at this time, and that's okay. You might be a bit out of steam, and that might be needed for you to do, and it will allow you to do this reflection. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. Or you might actually feel like, I've been working on a project with others, or I've been trying to do stuff with others and it's not working. You might need to pull back. It can alternatively also say, if you go off by yourself right now and just try and do what you need to do for you, that's going to help you move forward as well. You might be a bit out of steam, or you might be trying to like really get things done a certain way, but actually by pulling back a bit, it will just naturally allow you to kind of flow with it once you kind of go do that inward work that this full moon's calling you to do, which is great. And then we've got the moon. So what fears are coming up? There might be fears in this full moon that are coming up around you, manifesting certain things, creating the life that you want, but also connecting with your intuition and your dreams. What signs and synchronicities have been coming up? It's going to allow you to tap into your Ten of Pentacles, your Ten of Materials, abundance. There are signs, there's messages that you can have it all. And this is not just abundance. I mean, this is a beautiful tree with, like this spring, what I was saying to you, the flowers are blooming. You're coming into a very powerful time, but you need to release things. You need to connect with your true intuition of any fears that need to be kind of removed. There's no space for that, but there's a great, beautiful energy here of being around a tribe, being around others that are going to really be able to come forward at this time, at this time going into spring to support. So it's an abundance of not just monetary abundance, but of lovely things, of opportunities, of success, of health, of love, of connection. The Ten of Pentacles for me is not just about material abundance. It's abundance in every shape and form, abundance of the heart too. But it's very earthy, and that is very prominent from what we're seeing in the Virgo full moon, trying to get to the details of things. And then we end with such a beautiful energy, moving forward. I mean, that is a powerful, and that's like a full moon there. So this is an interesting full moon. It's not one of those heavy full moons like the full moon in Cancer might have been for some of you guys. That was a heavy one. This is a full moon that's almost like, okay, we need to go inward. We need to just let go of some things, but we're going to get to it. We're moving. we are moving. You don't have to have it all figured out, but we're moving and we're letting go, and we're using that energy of the full moon to allow us to move forward. And what's amazing is that's the Eight of Wands energy moving forward. Communication, you might be feeling that you're able to communicate better. There is a placement of Mercury in this full moon, so communicating better, being able to have that forward movement, and being very grounded. So this is the King of Pentacles, the Muse of Materials. Being grounded, really having that real knowing that you can do it, and being able to do it. It's, when you're at this King of Pentacles, you're not just a knight. You've done enough to know how to move forward and to allow you to move forward, to become more of this. So trust yourself, trust that whatever's coming to the surface to clear needs to be cleared. Do it, and trust me, you will be in this place. Now, your intuition might be telling you a lot more than what I'm telling you today, and I want you to trust that. Don't just go by what Steph says is the only truth, because your truth is the ultimate truth. I may say things that resonate with some of the things that were coming up for you, and that's brilliant, because then that is going to be, I'm just a channel, right, from spirit and from the angels to just give certain messages I feel are necessary. And I'm always going to talk about how you can positively move forward. So whatever resonates for you, take it. Finally, I pulled some moon manifestation cards, moonology cards. So that can help you at this time. Release your blocks. First quarter moon in Scorpio. Release your blocks. And this can just be, like I said, anything that's the fears that are coming up, things that maybe you need to, unblock areas where there's boundaries that need to be set and they're not clear. And beautiful, full moon in Cancer. And I mentioned the full moon in Cancer. There's something here I'm picking up on. There might have been stuff that happened at the end of January that was really tumultuous for you. Did I even say that right? It was just really sort of in your head, and really quite emotional for you, really challenging fears. Something that happened at the end of Jan, or it might have not, but anything that's happened there, this is time to really fully release it if you didn't get to fully release it back then in Jan earlier this year. But let those fears dissolve. I'm chewing on my words now. That means that it's almost time up. I think I've gone over my usual time, but I'm just flowing with it. But let that dissolve, because you're in a place where you can attune to the divine. And look at this new moon in Pisces. You can't make this stuff up. Like, definitely bringing through that balance of what your intuition's saying, that you can work on and move forward with any inspired action, but also what is in your fears and what's coming up as signs to release. So attune to the divine at this time. The divine is your divine, because you are divine. It's telling you things, so don't ignore it, and keep your heart open, because in all that we do, if we keep an open heart, there is so much more that will come through for us to help us on this journey. And that means that every full moon that you experience doesn't need to be heavy. Full moons don't need to be heavy. Once we start to really self-master ourselves, full moons become just another navigation for us to manage our energy and manage ourselves in the best way possible, so they don't have to feel so like, oh my god, the full moon's coming, I'm knocked out for like 3 days. It really doesn't need to be like that. And that's where you're self-mastering more and more. So keep that heart open. What is it that's blocking you from keeping that heart open? Who do you need to forgive? You may have felt people have done certain things to you recently, and that will block your heart space. That will block your heart chakra. So try to really let that go. And then I love this, we've got Capricorn energy, but that really resonates to this Virgo full moon. Take a reality check. Where is it that, Virgo will make you get a little bit like, oh my gosh, this is not going to be, I'm not going to be able to do this stuff because I've got these ideas. And now the perfectionist in me is like, oh, you're not going to be able to do that because of this. And then this is going to get in the way, and that's going to get in the way. And you start to just get in your head. Take the reality check, see it for what it is, but know that you can do stuff. So just put those, like I said, yes, take a reality check, but you can get stuff moving. Don't take the reality check of this is not possible. Make sure you keep a balance of the possible, the untapped potential, because there is unlimited potential for us all. We have just been programmed to have this lack mentality because the way that the world has been run and ruled is this economics of scarcity, supply and demand. We will create this feeling of scarcity so that we can create a need for demand, so we can supply a market. Literally, the whole world has been operating like this. And I studied economics, and it's funny that I'm saying what I'm saying now, but this is how, we were living, and it's not the way to live. It's not the way to live. Everyone rushing around because they need to get petrol because it's going to go scarce. It's not going to go scarce. Did you even know that there's untapped energy as well? But let me not get into that because this is about the moon and it's about you. Okay. And then finally, step up and lead. This is new moon in Capricorn. You're being propelled forward in this spring equinox with this full moon energy helping you to really let go and then lead. Whatever that leadership is, leading, your boundaries, setting those boundaries, leading a healthier lifestyle, making those, steps to commit to a more healthier, balanced lifestyle, setting time for yourself to really go within and just trust yourself. Taking the lead on a new project. You may have been, a lot of my listeners are being called to their soul work, their light work. You don't have to have it all figured out. Like I said earlier, you don't have to have it all figured out. I didn't, and I just went with it, and I just kept understanding that the divine was within me and giving me inspired ideas and actions, and that will allow you to create more. If you try to control things with your ego, you will lose your creativity, your spark. So step up and lead, and allow as well. Allow the attune to the divine to bring in, that balance of the feminine and masculine. So, my lovely souls, I hope that this served you well, and I'm wishing you a beautiful, powerful full moon in Virgo and a happy new astrological year with the spring equinox. I hope that you have a lovely weekend with spring cleaning and bringing in some fresh energy into your home, into your heart, and into your life and spirit. With that being said, take care.